Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and with me this week are...
Mike? I forgot we do our own intro, so I guess this is my intro.
And then you got me, Eli, aka the coolest person ever. Period.
That's my card. Eli, see, we're all in the same room, and Eli just read off my transcript, so... Okay.
And Uno Clay doesn't look like he's going to be here this week. He had some stuff to do, even though we're recording this late, but I didn't really get to contact him, so it's just the three of us this week.
Uno Clay, aka that one old dude from Philadelphia.
Whoa. Uno Clay, a.k.a. Uno Clay 1, okay, if you want to contact him, okay, so...
Let's be professional here. Jeez, get the names right. So we'll start off with what we've been playing. Other than Miitomo, which we'll have like our own little roundtable discussion on that, I played Pokken Tournament, which I'm really happy the demo came over here finally. And there's not much to it. You only have 4 characters to choose from. 3 of them are from Smash, which is Pikachu, Lucario, and Charizard, and then Gengar. And I think Gengar is my favorite, maybe not for moveset, but just for personality. He seems like the goofy kind of trolly character, like Wario, just with his characteristics and mannerisms. Yeah, he's goofy. I think one of his victory poses is like him swimming in the ground. It's just so weird, but I love him for that. But no, I'm happy to report that the controls aren't confusing as balls, because I was worried that I've never played a Tekken game, so I didn't really know the controls, but I was worried it was going to be like half quarter this way and quarter circle this and 3 different directions and then press a button like a Hadouken. I'm like, oh, I hope it's not like that, because then I'm not going to be interested. But it's pretty simple. It's basic. It's similar to Smash, where you just hold a direction and press a button. There's a little bit different to it, where if you do a move on the ground or in the air, it's different, or if you're in the 2D phase or 3D phase, is different. But it's still pretty easy to pick up and play. Like, it didn't really have that much of a problem. But no, I think it's pretty fun. The other characters look interesting, even though I didn't really get to play them or anything. You can fight against some of the characters that you can't actually play, just to see their moveset and whatnot. But if I can get it for like $30, I'd buy it for that much. I don't know. I had a fun enough time with it to spend $30 on it, but that probably won't be for quite some time. Mike, you played Pokken Tournament at one point, correct?
Yeah, I played it when I was in arcades, and Joey bought it, so I played it like about a week ago.
Nice.
So I played with Mewtwo, Shadow Mewtwo, Charizard, and stuff. I guess even though it had like a simple control layout, like I've never really played like those Naruto like 3D fighting games and Tekken and all that. Like it's not really 3D per se; it's 3D field with 2D mechanics and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like the big thing in Pokken is you go from free range 3D battle to like that. I forgot what they call the 2D, like the traditional style burst, right, or something similar.
It's
to that.
Field phase and dual phase.
That's it, yeah. And so, I mean, it's not like everything is the same. Like there's only 4 buttons. Yeah, there's ground and there's air. But then you gotta see which moves are better in 3D, which moves are better, what characters are better in this 2D type of setting. So it's like, I think that the game is like secretly complex in that matter, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's really like easy and like fun to pick up. Like, I enjoyed my time. Like, I was kind of more playing with training mode and then getting my butt kicked from Joey if he had the game. Like, I only played with the arcade controller, which was kind of bigger than the one that comes with. It's a super rare apparently. But, I guess I need more time with it, but I'm not too super, inclined to pick it up. I don't know why. Like, it's like, I thought it maybe be a little bit cooler. Like, I think it's cool from a Pokemon fan standpoint, but I can't, justify myself, buying it right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go on, Eli.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing.
Thank you, Eli.
So, that's pretty much the only thing I've played this week. Mike, other than Miitomo, have you played anything else?
Oh, spoiling my games list. Yeah, I'm like a few I finally beat Metroid Prime 3. Finally.
Nice.
I finally did it. 9 years later. Yeah, I think about 9 or 8 years later. freaking pretty underwhelming. I guess. I mean, I think I'm done with Prime. Like overall, like it just went from better. It went from best to really good to shitty. You
So it
know,
went
like I don't
downhill.
know. I felt, yeah, it really did. Like and people were complaining about Federation Force because blah blah blah. We want a new Metroid, but at the same time, it's like you know. If they're not gonna put their full effort in, and I don't know if I'm biased because it's motion controls and all that, but it just felt a little bit lazier. Like in Prime 3, it was more of you go to one world and you kind of figure out the whole world without really having to go back anywhere. And you're not really customizable at all. It's like, hey, you got to power up and this is it and nothing else. Like in Prime 1 and Prime 2 is like you would switch between the beams, which is better against enemies. Like the ship was way too involved in Prime 3. Like motion control sucks, so you can't really sit down and be comfortable. Like I literally was like, I'd sit close one day, sit back. I would have my arm hanging out for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's no blood going to my forearm and my freaking hand, so that's why. But I mean, Prime is cool, but I don't know, Prime 3 it just didn't feel right either because you also work with the Federation Force and work with the other bounty hunters who you kill. Spoiler alert, not really spoilers because it's 10 years, but again, like I don't know, I just felt more of like a character in the game rather than like Samus or. I don't know. I mean, you guys have played all the Primes, right? Like, how do you feel like for Prime 3 versus like what the GameCube had to offer?
I didn't really play any of them, to be honest.
All right. Did you play any 2D ones though, or?
No, I played Metroid Prime 2 probably the most out of any of the games, but I didn't even like finish that, so I don't
Well,
really
that
have
is the
much of a
hardest
point.
one. But other than that, Project Crossroad, since I beat Prime 3, I changed it up what I've been doing instead of playing 22,000 games at the same time. I try to be going like one and done each. So I do one platform, one on consoles and one on handheld.
Yeah.
So I finally started up Twilight Princess HD, and I mean, everyone knows the beginning is boring. Like I mean, most JRPGs, Zelda's not a JRPG. I'll never say it's an RPG game. But like most games, most Zelda games, they start off slow because you don't really have anything yet. So it's like, hey, let me introduce you to all the mechanics. Let me introduce you to the world, the characters, and let me actually throw you into the story. So it's like I just ran through like for 50 minutes. I was like, let me get the fish. Let me use the hawk, save the baby. Let me throw some rams, beat up some kids. I mean, shoot the slingshot for the kids, and then become a man wolf man. All right, and then I was like, all right. So like, I think the best part though, like total dumb random factoid, is when you're a wolf and in you have to go through the mail sequence with the mailman. I think it's hilarious that he can find you even when you're a wolf, and it's just like you turn around like, oh, and then you become a human to get your letter. Like he knows, he's like, bro, Link, what are you doing? You think that wolf disguise is not gonna send his credit card bill to you? Like, come on, dude.
He has better senses than the dog does.
Yeah, right? He's like walking by, he's like,
He's
yo,
like,
Poe, watch out. I'm like, dude, I've been looking for that Poe for 3 hours, man. But, yeah, like, I think also, I don't know if it's just me or I feel crazy, but I feel a little bit faster in Twilight Princess. I don't know, like, maybe because I just, the last Zelda game I played was like, I mean, Wind Waker HD was like built to be made faster, but it was like, I don't know, I just felt really quick. Oh no, Majora's Mask was the last game. It's Zelda game. But like, I just feel like I was climbing faster and I'm like running and rolling faster. That might be just a mental thing,
Yeah. So Eli, have you played anything other than Miitomo?
I've been playing good old Kirby Triple Deluxe, which I
Nice.
beat. The game is actually pretty fun, really underrated, I think. I had a blast playing it. The last boss battle was a little too long for my taste. It was like 5 stages of it. Oh my god.
I felt like the
Just
very
like Twilight
last.
Princess.
I felt like the last form was kind of unnecessary. It was more like, hey, here's our 3D mechanic kind of thing. But
Yeah. Well, that was one thing that
you go.
was really cool about the game is that the 3D mechanic was actually useful.
Yeah. I really enjoyed like being like I feel like it was a bit simpler than like most Kirby games to like try to get everything like sans the keychains. Like it was like, all right, you can go back. Like that never happened in my opinion, or I can't remember. Matt, you can correct me, but like the bronze doors where you only get once you go in and then you get solved the puzzle there. Like if I would mess up, like I used to kill myself in the old games and hope the checkpoint was before. In this game, you could just re-enter that door unless it was like one of the screen moving levels. So I kind of felt like I was like, all right, like that's kind of cool, but at the same time, I was like, it's a little bit more, intriguing, easier, I guess. But I gotta realize the Kirby crowd is not really like hardcore.
Yeah. Except for the cover art, for some reason.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He always has
well,
to
I
be
mean,
pissed.
only in America, okay?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, no, they did it for Planet Robobot. They have that in the Japanese box art too.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
nice.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway,
Oh.
Eli, did you have anything else to say about it, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done a lot of the side stuff, so I can't really speak to that. But the game was pretty fun. I recommend. I got it, I think, for $18 or something. It was on sale on Best Buy.
Nice.
I definitely recommend checking it out.
Cool. So, two things launched this week. Both My Nintendo and Miitomo launched. And Miitomo has seen pretty good success so far. It's gotten 1 million downloads on the Google Play Store, which I didn't even know if people actually used or not, and 3 million downloads worldwide.
So Apple fault, alright?
But it seems to be doing well as far as someone with no knowledge of mobile statistics goes. But people have been playing it, and basically what it is like I thought, a watered down version of Tomodachi Life. So you have your one character you build, and you have like a personality and change the voice and all this stuff. And you basically fill out a couple of questions, and then your friends can see those questions, and then they can respond back to them and see their own questions and go back and forth. And the way you can get friends is kind of weird. So you link your Facebook or Twitter account, and if you're both following each other, then it'll suggest it as a friend. But there's currently no way to just hand out a code and say like, hey, I want to be friends with this person. They don't have a Twitter, which is funny that we're like, hey, we want a code to pass out when we were like demonizing Nintendo for having codes way back when. But that's the only problem I have so far as connecting. But what have you guys thought about Miitomo in this first week?
Eli, you go first, man.
So, I mean, it's kind of fun to play. I wish that I could set better friends, like my priority friends, so that I could actually see the people I cared about.
Yeah. Do you have Push Dustin from Source Gaming in your friends list?
Who?
Okay, so Source Gaming, they do a bunch of Smash Brothers articles, and I think the main contributor to the site, or the owner of the site, is named Push Dustin, and I added him because I'm like, oh, cool, because we're following each other anyway, and it was in my list, and I don't think he's never skipped a question, because he's the one like clogging my news feed. I almost want to unfollow him from Miitomo, just because it's like every question I see is from him. I'm like, okay, I don't need to know everything. So I think that's where
is he popular?
Priority. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because like the way it works with the news feed is that it updates not based off when they're answering the questions, but based off of when someone comments on it.
Oh, okay.
So if we'll keep commenting on his stuff, that might be why it keeps popping up.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, I mean, I never really played Tomodachi Life. It feels weird. Like I have no idea what to expect. They kind of throw you in. Like, yeah, it's simple, but at the same time, it's like, answer this question. Okay, but I want to like make my room nice and look at other people's things. Yeah, but who cares about that? I mean, like, stop. And here's a lot of coins. I'm like, what's a game ticket? It's like, do not know. I was like, I don't know. Is the game in this? I felt like I was thrown into it, and it's it's fun addicting, but at the same time, it's like, I really don't want to I really don't want to take time and figure this out. What's going on? You know?
I think I cut you off there, Eli. What were you trying to say before?
I don't even remember what I was saying. Anyway, I think
just
the game.
Your general impressions.
I think it's It's cool that I don't have to spend any money to play it. I appreciate that. I think Miitomo, Me Drop, or whatever it's called, is super rigged. It's just a bullshit game. You don't win anything. But here's my thoughts. The app is going to live and die in its community, and I don't really want to say whether it's a good app or not, because that really depends on when we look back 6 months from now, whether people are still using it. Because if 6 months from now, people are still using it like daily or whatnot, then that's good. And that means that the app was successful and it was a good app. If everyone forgot about it, it's like, oh, Miitomo came out, and it just no longer is part of the conversation, then I'd say it's a bad game and then they failed.
Yeah, so obviously it's day one, so it's going to be quite different than when it's going to be a few months down the line. But my first impressions are the game, like you said, it lives and dies by the community because some people's answers I see are just like basic answers. It's like, okay, this is fine, but if it's just going to be a basic answer, it seems more like text messaging, and there's other ways to, keep in contact with people. But some of the people I'm friends with on there like put in jokey answers intentionally to screw with what you expect, and I think that's where the fun comes in with it if people like screw around with it. And I could see using it and having fun with it that way. But right now it's just answer a question and someone responds, or you just read other people's answers, and if those answers aren't really interesting to you, then there's not really a point in the app because there's not much else to it. I will say it's also a new experience for me because I didn't really play mobile games before. The only thing I would play would like be Plants vs. Zombies or Angry Birds. So growing up playing video games, for decades and whatnot, I'm not used to picking up a device and saying, okay, I'm going to play this for 2 minutes and drop it off, which is what this app is really for. Most mobile apps are, because they expect you to not be on there all day, but it's just something that I'm not really used to, like picking it up for a minute and putting it down. I'm used to just picking something up and going with it for a while, so I think that hinders my experience with it as well, but it just doesn't seem interesting enough so far. I'm not sure what else they can do to make it more interesting, but they're likely going to add more stuff in the future to it.
Yeah, we'll see. I also want to see how it ties together with their other apps.
Yeah, is it supposed to? Like, I know my Nintendo will, because
I
it's
mean,
the
my
Switch.
Nintendo will, but it would be interesting if, like, say, you're playing a game and your high scores ended up appearing in Miitomo as well. I don't know, maybe comparing as a feature. Well, as long as they keep adding features to it
Yeah.
and keeping people engaged, I feel like there's got to be a way to tie it in with their other apps. Or like there was that April Fool's joke for Sleepio. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
I mean, what did I say? I meant
Sleepio?
April Fool's. Yeah, Sleepio for April Fools. Some site came up with this app it's like a sleeping app, but made by Nintendo. It's not actually a thing, but Nintendo is more social apps. I could definitely see it tying in with Miitomo.
Yeah, maybe they could have something where it's like, oh, play this challenge and you get a costume in Miitomo or something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could craft something around it. So the other thing I wanted to address quickly was the Alison Rapp debacle, whatever you want to call it, this week. I wrote an extensive essay because apparently I have nothing else better to do. So I'll put that in the description if people are interested in looking at it. And I put all my sources in there as well, so I'm not just BSing you and pulling this stuff out of my ass.
BS, sir. I mean, all right.
But basically, she's a PR rep for Nintendo, and she got fired this week. And Nintendo came out and said it's because she had a second job and it was messing with their corporate culture and whatnot. And she was saying, oh, the second job is fine under Nintendo, it's under their policy, but I had the second job and put under a fake name and whatnot, so that didn't. You basically contradicted yourself. You're saying it's okay, but I had to make it private so no one could find it. Like, if it was fine, you wouldn't have to. That makes no
No,
sense.
I mean it would make sense if she say, was talking about some sort of controversial issue that it was a little suspicious that she was hiding it, but it would make sense that she would do that if the purpose was that she was talking about controversial issues and she didn't want to tie it to Nintendo.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is she didn't make another Twitter account. She only has one, and she still posted things on there. So no one knows what the heck this second job is. It really doesn't matter. On her Twitter account that she used for Nintendo, she posted some not safe for work images on there a number of times, and that certainly doesn't help your case when you're a PR rep for a family-friendly company. And it's not like this was before she worked at Nintendo. It was while she was working there, so that doesn't help.
Was it like cosplay or was it?
No, it was. She was literally in like lingerie and doing photo shoots. So,
okay.
like she's in her underwear and whatnot.
Okay.
Like
continue on.
Basically, if you open a video. Oh, sorry.
I said continue on. I get it.
Okay. But also she said some other things on her Twitter account relating to whatchamacallit? I forget. That was the word. Age of consent stuff, things like that. And they were mostly before she was hired at Nintendo, but she still said some stuff.
Wait, I thought that wasn't that wasn't on Twitter. That was in her thesis.
So she did write a thesis, but she also wrote some things on Twitter. Let me find the stinking quotes I have up here. Okay, so some of her tweets are as follows. This kind of legal bullshit pisses me off, and she's pointing to a report where a man was arrested for owning a crap ton of child porn. And in her thesis, she goes back and forth on whether she's talking about anime or actual children, so no one really knows what the heck she's talking about. Regardless of that, though, she's like, oh, this pisses me off that this guy is sent to jail and he has like actual child porn, where it's like, no, you should go to jail. This is illegal for.
No, I mean, I understand her point of view. She was talking about the fact that she wasn't necessarily saying that child pornography should be legal. She wasn't saying like it should be legal to do child pornography. It was more the fact that you shouldn't criminalize thought, and that it's more of a freedom issue, like him owning this. As long as he wasn't the one creating the pornography, he shouldn't be punished for thinking that way.
Well, the problem is it doesn't matter, because even if you're consuming it or buying it, you're helping that market. And if you make owning it legal, there's going to be more people supporting that market, and the bigger the market, the more people are going to produce, and the more
I don't know.
the more people are going to be harmed.
I think it's an interesting topic of discussion, because if you had a video game, there was, I think, a rape video game that came out in Japan or something, and so, like, there were issues like, should that be legal or not? And one side said, well, yes, it should be legal, because if someone plays that, then it might be enough to stop them from doing the actual thing, from actually committing rape, because that would be enough for them. And maybe if they're already thinking that way, then the fact that they have access to it or not really isn't going to stop them. I mean, maybe that child pornography prevented that one guy from going and raping a child. We don't really know, obviously, but if that guy was arrested for owning child pornography, but he had never in his life had any instances of sexual abuse, who knows, maybe had that child pornography not been there, he would have committed those sort of things. So those are the types of arguments you would see. Not saying which side I agree with or anything, but I don't necessarily think you should be fired for having an opinion, and
so
unless it was explicitly part of her contract.
Well, here's some other things. She's saying, I'm happy that my Twitter friends understand me, except when I defend child porn non-censorship. Lol, run away. Well, I actually argue in favor of less strict laws regarding child sexual agency and depiction of sexualized minors. And the other problem with this is she doesn't really identify or clarify if she's talking about drawings, which is, I'm still not I don't really like it, but it's not real versus actual real stuff. If you think people under the age of 18 should not be sexualized or allowed sexual agency, stop. Now, I think there's something to be said partially to that because, high school kids are around 15, 16, they're going to have sex, that's fine, whatever. But I don't think you should be sexualizing people under 18, like under the legal law. Like, look, we have this law, why are you going to try to make it worse? I'm
I don't know.
not really
I
giving
think
it enough
pertaining
effort
to her
involved.
actual firing. If she broke her contract, then that's one thing, and I understand. If she got fired for tweeting or whatever that she did, if it wasn't a breach of contract, then I don't think she should have been fired. There's also, like if she had a non-commit clause, for example, and she was writing for a game website, then I get it. We obviously don't have all the details. I think PR-wise, though, Nintendo did not look good from firing her. I think that it actually made them look worse than if she just had stayed on. There were however many, probably 50 angry people that she worked there, and the fact that she got fired angered a lot more.
So here's a couple other quick quotes I'll try to go through. In my academia days, I argued for laxer porn laws, lowering the age of consent, and being nicer to bronies. Seriously, why are you trying to lower the age of consent here? Don't hate on sex workers, furries, women with big boobs, men who like kids or kids things, people who like pop music and romance plots. Why the heck are you equating prostitutes with men who like kids? Like those are not equal statements. She has a bunch of these things. I don't want to go on forever, but basically, regardless if she's talking about real or not, she's a PR rep for Nintendo. She is representing the company. If Nintendo doesn't think that she's representing them in a favorable light, I think that's enough reason to fire her, like besides the other reasons. Because it's like if this person isn't portraying your company well, like if they're saying these things that your company doesn't line up with your company's values, it's like, no, you're not doing your job right. You're not presenting us either the way we want or the way
Once
looks
again,
good.
I think there's two arguments. Number one, what was part of her contract, and number two, the one which I said, I think it just makes them look. I think it does more damage than it does good. Like how many? Well, there was an uproar of her getting fired. There really wasn't an uproar about the fact that she was there. So I get it that she's a representative and that's her job and this and that and the other. But if she didn't break part of her contract, or even if she did, I just don't think that Nintendo saw a net benefit to getting rid of her. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
As far I don't know. I think if someone ends up seeing like, oh, Nintendo has a PR rep that's okay with child porn, etc., like that's not gonna look good on Nintendo's part, especially when they're supposed to be like this family company. It's like not a lot of people would be favorable towards that. So it's either you fire and some people get pissed because they don't really know entirely everything, or you have customers not buying your product because now you have like this tarnished image. But I think I should probably move on. I think there was something else I wanted to say about it. A lot of people didn't mention that Jamie Walton, co-founder of an anti-sex trafficking organization, was contacting Nintendo about some of these tweets and some of the other things she's done, and saying like, look, Nintendo, I don't think you're aware of this, like, this won't reflect you well. And they actually responded to her and said like, thanks for showing us, we don't support this, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, it's just a bunch of angry people mad at Fire Emblem, that's why she's fired. It's like, no, there's actually more. And I don't even think the people who might have sent stuff to Nintendo actually did a whole lot. I think it's, this co-founder of like this giant company that actually has some pull, besides her posting like images and whatnot of herself. But yeah, I don't think I should have probably summed up my argument better because I wrote this whole piece, but I didn't want to read it off. So if you want to hear my more detailed thoughts and other sources and whatnot, check the description for that. But I think I've said enough about that. So let's move on. Apparently, the Nintendo DSi shop is closing. Part of it is closing September 2017. Oh, what? September 2016 and March 2017.
Oh no, what a shame.
I know. This thing that everyone forgot.
I didn't even ever have a DSi.
I wanted one just basically because it was a blue DS, and then like a month later the 3DS was announced. So I'm like, oh good, I can save for that. But if you haven't,
what's the big thing? A DSi, or they're just
it just has it had a camera and it had some downloadable games. So if you had a DSi and some downloadable games, download them now while you can, or else you won't have access to them, and you can port them to the 3DS. So just do that.
I had a DS Lite, son. Alright? I was like, I don't need no DSi XL. I don't need these crappy WiiWare games. Alright? Even though on the DS I said WiiWare, but still.
Alright, so moving on. Video Games Plus, which is apparently a Canadian retailer, I've never heard of them, they're probably small, claims DS carts are no longer in production, and apparently they leaked Nintendo Selects like 2 weeks ahead of time, so that's that's part of their credibility, I guess. And the first actual available DS game is WarioWare Twisted that came out this week. I thought there was supposed to be a DS game on the Wii U eShop, but I couldn't find it unless it's only in Japan or something. But it's been out for like the DS has been out for like 13 years, so it's not like it's either cutting out a new console short or anything. Moving on, Nintendo has invested apparently $527 million in research and development, which, I mean, it does sound like a lot, $500 million, but I don't know how much they usually spend per year on game development and whatnot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay.
And it's not just game development. R&D generally is...
Hello? Eli?
Research and development. I think that...
Sorry, what was
game
that?
development costs
You
are
cut
something
out.
different.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if
maybe I'm
R&D
wrong about this, but I thought R&D is specifically hardware.
That's what I thought too, but I was wondering if it would count game development as well.
I don't think so, because I feel like those costs would be higher.
Yeah, probably.
If it was.
'Cause my only issue is that Nintendo calls their actual studios like research and development, or no, it's EAD. Whatever. I think some of them are called research and development, so I didn't know if they would bundle that in, even though research and development is usually hardware. But if it's just hardware, that's a lot of money, so.
It is a lot of money. But let me just say that I am happy they're doing it if it turns out to be a good product. If they spend $500 million on another Wii U, I guess Wii was a good investment, another Wii U, then we have an issue. If they spend $500 million on a good system, then I'm totally okay with that. I think it's good that they're spending a lot of money. You need to spend money to make money, and I think that's a good investment.
Yep. So speaking of the NX, of course, basically every week there's some NX stuff. AMD is pointing to an NX release this year because they were talking about supporting multiple or launching multiple consoles this year. So it could be the NX or the NX Portable, or maybe the PS4K, or maybe another weird Android console that no one supports, which I'm pretty sure they stopped trying to do. And to back it up, the Wii U also used AMD chips, so it's not like Nintendo is immediately discounted from AMD's hardware that they're talking about. Plus, it seems likely that they're going to go with AMD if they're going to emulate the other consoles. And some other details. This comes from a verified user on Reddit, which basically doesn't amount to much because he's a person who knows a person with information, so take that what you will. I don't know how that makes him verified, but whatever.
Is this the guy? I think I tried to actually verify this guy. I think I sent him. He's not verified with me anyway. I sent him a PM, told him the site I wrote for, gave him my email address for the site I write, for Nintendo enthusiasts. I'm like, hey, can you confirm your identity or something, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he said, what do you need? And I said, well, literally anything. And he never sent me anything. I don't believe the guy.
Yeah, I remember you brought that up by either last week or the week before. I'm not
This
sure.
is the same guy? This is someone different?
I think so.
Okay, never
Unless
mind
it's
then.
the same guy in a different article, but see, he listed some basic details like x86 architecture, like the other consoles, and power enough to run current games, and software unlocking My Nintendo rewards, blah blah blah. But some of the more interesting things are backing up data to a Nintendo server, so could be hinting at the hybrid console, or just be able to another way to save your backup data. Support for an additional screen, which sounds like maybe a controller with a screen is optional rather than mandatory, or somewhere suggesting that LAN play is possible on 2 TVs with 1 console. I'm not sure why they would need that, but it's a possibility, I guess. And able to interact with smartphone or smart device apps, which seems likely, I think, given My Nintendo and their other apps, and just them showing their diagram of like bridging devices together. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say about this.
I don't want to comment on rumors and speculation.
All right, Mr.
Bullshit.
Nintendo official. So they speaking of, besides rumors, they actually patented something which is almost as frequent as rumors, it seems. They patented an object detection device. This patent came out just yesterday and can detect objects or fingers around this device. It kind of looks like, of course, what they draw isn't exactly what comes to fruition, but at least from what the device shows, it looks basically like a powered-up Amiibo reader. It's just like this disc that can read things either on, I think, well, just on the surface beside it and whatnot, just with a couple other bells and whistles to it. And it also is pretty similar to another patent that came out last September where they had a handheld that detected objects and fingers around it. So maybe this console is going to use this technology because they've patented for both a handheld and also like this little disc device that I guess you would use at home with a console rather than try to jam it in a controller and make it awkward. I don't know. Do you guys think there's any neat uses for something like that besides just
I
reading
don't
a
comment on rumors and speculation.
I like
I'm just tired of all these rumors.
I
Like,
know, me too, but there's nothing else.
if I could build an actual console based off any rumor I wanted that's already been leaked,
Yeah.
I would have an ultimate console because I can just piece together all these different amazing things. You know?
Yeah, well, but Eli, this is a podcast. You're not writing it. If you want to think of something or be like, that's a pretty cool rumor, it's all good, man. I thought when that stupid Swedish PS Vita, aka not a Wii U controller, came out, I was like, man, this is stupid, and this is why I don't watch trailers or, look at rumors kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like, where do they get that source of information? You know what I mean? It's like, who made this? Yeah, I like to think more of whoever the person was just to think of it and go through all the trouble to get it to going, alright? I need to know who actually starts the rumors. That's the fun part, alright? And just trying to debunk them. That's the good part.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like or at least for this console, we've gotten the most like rumors and wild patents than like any other console. Like I don't remember the Wii U hearing a bunch of like 100 different crazy patents and
That's
different
because we knew what it
ideas.
was. That's because they announced it ahead of time. And we had Project Cafe that leaked, and then all the right information leaked, and then Nintendo confirmed it before E3, and everything was good.
No, I don't know, because I did get to play the Wii U like when I had the slide things. I was like, this sucks. Like the slide knobs suck on the Gundam gamepad. Now it's like a legit thing until they change it to the sticks. So it's like, you are kind of right, because we kind of all knew what the Wii U would be. They're like, we're gonna do this, and they actually stuck to their guns. And everyone's like, no, they actually mean they're gonna do this. And it's like, no, they actually did what they said. But this,
They called it a Wii. they called it a Wii U, and we all screamed about, no, don't call it a Wii U, please don't. And then they did it anyway.
And then we all bought it anyway. All right, God. Yeah, I was gonna say freaking. I like this guessing game thing. I mean, it reminds me of when Smash 4 was coming out. And then every rumor was terrible. Like Nestor's the new character, and you're like, oh God.
Sure.
Why Nintendo? And you're like, just kidding. Some guy leaked it. This bullshit. And you're like, but I believed it for like 3 weeks. And it's like, so I'm kind of getting that. I mean, it's good. I'm getting like that vibe where it's like, man, I really don't know what to expect. Let's see what Evo's gonna bring. But at the same time, it's like you can't trust an article as far as you can throw it. So
yeah. Especially if someone's gonna go through the effort of making a 3D model, text is gonna be less trustworthy.
Yeah, exactly. So like the way I look at it, like yeah, it's nice. I mean, I want to comment on rumors, but at the same time, it's like I don't have anything to say because I can't think of anything. It's like I'm like, all right, this is cool, but I can't think of anything because I have no actual formed opinion or hope for it. I just want to. I don't. Not that I don't have hope in percent. It's more of I don't have like a vision. Like I don't really know what to expect. Like I just want Nintendo to be like, here it is, and I'll be like, that's cool, or that sucks. What the hell you doing? Go back in the lab and make it better so I can be an angry consumer, okay? Yeah. And they're going to be like, but Michael, you're going to buy it anyway. You're on the My Nintendo podcast. I'm like, whoa, it's just another castle to you, and where do I buy it, all right?
Oh, my gosh.
So, I mean, that's the honest truth for me.
Yeah, basically the patents are the only, like, semi-confirmed things because it was an idea and it was put through, like, legitimate chains that Nintendo sought to capture and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I just want them to show it off and stop talking about. Just tell us already what the heck it is. But I don't know. It's gonna be so weird. The console itself is probably gonna be so underwhelming with all these weird out there like patents and rumors we're hearing, because we're hearing like all these crazy things, and it's probably just gonna be like, yeah, here's a console. It's like, oh, all right, I guess that's what it is. Good enough. I don't know. It's crazy. Nintendo, just show it off already. I'm getting sick of this.
Yeah, I want them to announce before E3. Get us hyped a little bit.
Yeah, show it off in April. Like, even if they have a 10-minute direct, like a 15-minute direct, like telling us the details of it, and showing off the console, and like a teaser of something, teaser of a game or something, that's enough. You tell us whatever the heck it is, like a month in advance, fine, and then at E3 you can just say, here are all the games. Because then you don't have to waste time like going and explaining everything about it. I think that's probably the best way to go, especially since they're basically going to go launch it this year anyway. They have to drum up hype. One other thing, and then I kind of want to get to the guessing game since we have time for it. This is really minor, but Nintendo changed the colors of their logo. So all the way up until the GameCube, it used to be a red logo, and then apparently blue in Japan and Europe for a little bit. And then from the Wii and 3DS and Wii U, they changed it to gray for no reason, because it looks worse. Stop doing this corporate nonsense. And now it's white with like a red logo on the background. And, it doesn't necessarily confirm anything, but companies changing their logos usually signifies like a change in the direction of the company, or something new is on the horizon, just pointing more to NX. And maybe they're changing the policy of going back to being a better Nintendo or something. I don't know. I'm just getting my hopes up for nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I just like the red better than the gray. So that's...
No!
What?
That's like gray. What is this, PlayStation 1?
I agree with you, Matt. I agree.
Yeah, well, I don't like red because both of you guys like it. So how does that make you feel?
You hipster douchebag.
Yeah, just because I like Batman vs. Superman and everyone hates it. So please, I mean,
It was okay. There were... Just like Man of Steel, I enjoyed it when I watched it, and then after I went home and like listened to reviews and whatnot, I'm like, no, they were right. It's worse than I thought. There's too many problems. The way they set up why Batman and Superman are fighting and the resolution is just so thin, like it's so stupid, and it's like that's the literal title of this movie, and your reasoning for having it is paper thin. It's just whatever. But that could be saved for, I guess, the movie podcast or something. So there wasn't really much news this week. That was basically it. But
Well, I got news.
oh, what?
I got some. All right. Hold on. I gotta refine. Okay, Shadow Mewtwo, the Infinite got patched out already. All right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So because if anyone didn't know or is like a super pocket monster, tournament fan. Yeah, your slick ass days of being Dark Mewtwo are over. But there was actually some other stuff that I totally can't find now, so all the pressure's on me to bring it out. All right, that season of stories, that's the real Harvest Moon. They're getting they're getting Nintendo costumes, so I guess that's pretty cool because I mean Harvest Moon was kind of important towards Nintendo, so it's like, hey, freaking. This is pretty cool. Black R-Wing amiibo unlocked for Star Fox Zero, and the newest trailer came out, so that looks badass. And I'm like, oh, maybe there'll be like customizable R-Wing, or maybe it only works with the amiibo. I'm not too sure. I didn't want to spoil anything for myself, so I kind of just like read the title and I was like, gosh, damn, I spoiled it. I spoiled the whole game for me. So game's ruined. I don't think I can buy it. No, that's it. After yeah, don't forget it comes out the 22nd. I totally forgot it's even coming out. I was like, holy crap, this game's already coming out. Why is it coming out? I thought it was coming out in the summer. And then Europe got a better pre-order version. They get the Star Fox hat and all the other stuff. And meanwhile, America only gets the shitty patch, which is still badass, but still, I'd rather have a hat. Okay. And Ace Attorney anime finally came out. So, anyone's looking to watch it.
So you're interested in that?
Of course. I mean, it's Phoenix Wright, damn it. Alright? So that's hype, okay? The 6-game trailer came out like a few weeks ago. I forgot to mention that, but, Maya Fey's gonna like kinda in the trailer, and I was like, why did I watch this? Even though I kinda knew she'd be in it. Still, the anime is not like related to the 6 game that coming out. It's more of it's just its own series.
Yeah.
Unlike, Final Fantasy 15, like, hey, we got this coming out with our game. It's like, oh, this is gonna relate. On an not Nintendo, but a kind of every game note, Kingdom Hearts, Kai, that's actually what the, Keyblade, that's what the X means. Alright, it's not a cross or, it's like, it should be actually Kingdom Hearts Key, but like, if you didn't play the game, you wouldn't know. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts Unchained, we'll just leave it at that. That comes out next week for America, and it's shitty and stupid and for mobile.
I thought this was the Nintendo news. It sounds more like the Mike news.
Yeah, these are important things for, Kingdom Hearts is important to like, Nintendo people. There's like 3 or 4.
Half of the games have been on there, so it is technically relevant.
Yeah. I mean, there's 358 over crap, Dream Drop Distance, and there's Chain of Memories for the Game Boy. So there's actually 4, and then there's also Recoded. So, but I mean, Miitomo is on mobile platforms, so I might as well throw that out. And then the other thing was, are you guys like they said Capcom guy wants to make a Capcom versus Nintendo, so I guess that would be more of a tradition.
Yoshinori Ono.
Yeah. How would you feel about that? 'Cause that seems just weird to me. I don't know if I could think of it.
I don't know. It might be neat because Tatsunoko versus Capcom, like the art style and that is very cartoony and whatnot. So I could see them doing like a Smash Brothers versus Capcom. The roster would obviously be limited, but I don't know. It could be neat. I probably wouldn't play it because I'm not really crazy
Who would
about.
fit in? Like, I can only think like Donkey Kong is like the most unique guy, cause like like Panda and Bear and Tekken. But then I'm like, oh, it's Capcom, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like I can't like picture it. Like I don't see it. Like I'm like, hey, do we make a Ryu clone of Mario kind of thing? Like
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they adapt Smash Brothers characters to that kind of fighting style. I kind of want to see it just for that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as big of a roster though. I think you're gonna use more human guys. Like remember, Link was in Soul Calibur 2, even though he was completely broken in that game. But he was like super good. But it's because he was like the only guy with like ranged attacks. But it's like I could see like like Ganondorf and the other human characters kind of having like a fighting style, but at the same time, it's like it just seems like really a lot of it would take a very long time if you want to make each guy kind of unique. Yeah, you could make Mario, Luigi, Wario all like a Ryu, Ken, Akuma kind of style. Like they're all built off like the same guy. They're all very similar, but each is different. Like Ken is more of like high kicks, low kicks. Like Akuma can do like aerial Hadoukens. He doesn't really call it Hadouken, but Ryu can't do that. So it's like, oh, they would all have their perks, but I don't know. Like it doesn't seem too good of an idea to me.
So before we end the podcast, since it's been a couple of weeks, I kind of want to play the guessing game we have, even though we only have 2 people instead of 3 this week.
Did you choose pain in the ass characters that nobody knows again?
No, I chose more relevant. Well, 2 are more relevant that you should be able to get. This is only, I think, like my 2nd or maybe 3rd time because we haven't been able to do it for a couple of weeks, so I haven't had to make more. But give me some slack, jeez. So for anybody who hasn't heard this guessing game we started, it's called It's a Me. Basically, I give Eli and Mike, and if Unoclay was here, Unoclay, a hint of this character, and they can ask me yes or no questions. And the only other stipulation is that I'm not going to choose obvious characters like Mario or Pikachu or Link or Samus because that's not fun that they'd get it so easily. So I choose the secondary or tertiary characters.
Okay.
What was that?
I'm just guessing the correct answers already.
Okay.
Luigi, you said
you're wrong. So the first character is a thief.
Shantae. No, Link after you steal one boomerang in Link's Awakening, and he calls you thief, and he changes your file name.
No, and that is incredibly deep. No, it's not Sheik either, or any of the other answers.
Sheik is a ninja, not a thief. I know this answer too. It's pissing me off. Wait, this is 20 questions, right? So
you can ask questions.
All right. Main character? Question mark?
No.
Okay, good. I know this answer, and I really hate how I can't give you the thing
so
right now.
I'll give you another hint because I'll give you another hint because thief is a bit too broad. So this character is a thief, and it's
Ganondorf.
No,
he's born from the Valley of.
Jeez, calm
Mike,
down.
stop. Let's say his hint.
So
I'm giving you the most deepest answers ever. Okay.
It's not deep. So it's a thief, and it's a fairly new character that was introduced within the last few years.
Shantae. Wait, that's not a thief.
You already said that.
I know. I was like, that's not a thief.
How about...
Think like within the last 5 years or so.
I know this! Oh!
Is this character appear on the 3DS?
Yes.
Does this character appear in Smash Brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
Darn it, that's why I know it, damn it. It's an assist trophy, right? Or...
Yes.
Oh.
Waluigi's not a thief. It's obviously Nintendo. Got it, boom. Game over. Alright, but... oh! Curse
Is
me.
it...
It's not Kirby.
I didn't say Kirby.
No, Mike did.
I'm trying to think of every assist character ever, and I can only think of, like, the important ones. There's Majora guy, and there's Grigrium, whatever how you say it, and there's that Asian guy with the sword with, the outfit. Asian outfit.
Oh, Takamaru.
Yeah, there's Lin.
Yeah.
The devil guy is not a thief. He's a devil.
This character has made multiple cameos, both playable and non-playable.
Is this character in Zelda?
No.
I know this, man. Why you guys do this to me, man? And you're gonna tell me, I'm gonna be like, what the hell? I'm holding that figurine in my hand right now, Let's see. I can think of it.
Is the character from Xenoblade?
No.
Good.
I'm just like going through these characters right now.
It's from a first-party Nintendo IP. That's why I should know. I mean, screw it. Rabbit guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple thing.
Rovio.
Nabbit.
No,
Yeah, how you like
oh
that?
no,
I told you I
Nabbit.
do. Yeah, I said
Nabbit.
rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
you know
Yeah,
why?
he's a thief. He was in the
My
last.
mind was in a completely separate place.
That's right. How you like that, Eli? All right. You know why? You know what the worst part is? When Matt said you could play as them, I was like, oh, the glitch in Smash Brothers Wii U, and you can switch and be Nabbit. And then it was like, I was like, oh wait, he's in Super Luigi U. And then
Yeah,
it hit me.
that's what I was going for. He was introduced in, actually, I think it was Super Luigi U or maybe something before then, and he's been playable in some like the sports games, and then non-playable like Smash and whatnot. So that's where those hints came from. So the next one is a villain that has multiple transformations.
Oh, he's in the X-Men. He gets it, or the
Is this
No.
from a first-party Nintendo game?
Yeah.
Is it from Zelda?
Yes.
Xanth. He can transform into.
No.
No, wait, no. He can like change the background.
Yeah. He's useless.
Is it from? Does this character appeared in a game in the last 5 years?
No.
Oh, Nightmare from Link's Awakening when you get to fight him in a different form.
No, but good guess.
Thank you. I know this. I do know it. I know it. Like, I legitimately know it.
It's a pretty forgotten character.
Jim Bob. No.
Jim Bob.
You like Jim Bob. I'm like, gotcha, you guys didn't even know.
Pretty forgotten character.
Yes.
He's a side boss, I'm assuming.
He's, well, I just said most of them are he's anyway. He's not a side boss.
Darn.
Is he a main boss?
Yes. In at least one or two games.
Handheld?
Yes.
You did not. Okay.
Wait. Oh, handheld. What?
Good, Eli's out of his element. He's like, this other game besides Wind Waker? And I'm like, good, I'll get this solid 2-0.
Well, I've played Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, and I've played, what's the other handheld game I played? I played Minish Cap.
Okay.
So I'm thinking is it the Minish Cap?
Yes.
Yeah, it is in Minish Cap, you bastard. I was trying to keep that info for myself, but, I can't think at all. Like, I only know the game, I really don't know the character though.
Ow.
Oh, it's Tingle, obviously.
I've got this.
No, you don't.
I mean, I really don't. I don't remember anything from. I don't remember anything.
I can't. That's right. He is pretty easily forgotten. You can only think of Vati in the game. You're like, yeah, you know, there's Link and your annoying hat, the pelican, and
Is it the final boss in that game?
Yes.
that's Vati, so.
What?
That's Vati.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
But I said Vati. Like,
Well, I didn't know if you were saying that as an answer or just talking out of the blue.
yeah, well, whatever.
I'm like, I'm not gonna give it to him easily. I'll let him.
I was talking out of the blue, though. I was.
Okay.
I'll admit.
Just like the Donkey Kong thing where you, I think you brought up one of the Donkey Kongs, and the answer was Donkey Kong Jr., and I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for him to say it.
I was like, come on, Donkey Kong the first, and you're like, it's not the official answer. Whatever.
You said something similar or something a little off, and I'm like, yeah.
I said Donkey Kong's dad, because Donkey Kong is the third, and Craig Kong is the original Donkey Kong, and it's like, I didn't really like say it, I was just spitballing stuff.
Okay. Last one. This character has a lot of siblings.
Is it from a first-party Nintendo
Yes,
game?
all of them are.
Alright, I know this. He's got mad siblings, yo. This is so easy. He's like, I know this. Oh, like you walk in his house and it's all his siblings. How about it's Tingle, bro? It's Tingle.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
There you go. That was quick.
How you like that? You're like, you're like, and I was like, boom, all right? Like, I'm like right next to Matt.
Wait,
looking
who
at
was
the
it? I totally missed it.
It's Tingle.
Oh. See, the problem was I went on Go Nintendo on accident.
Yeah,
On accident.
And
Yeah,
I
accident,
saw,
next to Goofy.
well, I saw this Alison Rapp stuff popped up. Igda has condemned her firing. So someone is on my side in this matter.
Okay. I
Let me
still
just
don't
point out.
think. I don't think all these other outlets didn't even bring up a lot of information behind it. But
No, I'm
I
saying
think,
Igda's the Independent Game Developer Association. It's like
yeah, I know, but
it's a big deal.
they've had some shady dealings go on before, so I'm not really gonna just trust them out of the blue with. Well, I mean, it's not really trust; it's their opinion, but whatever. A lot of outlets didn't report on a lot of crucial information, but we've already gone past that story, and I don't want to go back to it again. So I think that about wraps it up this week. You can find me at the Mango Viking on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And Mike, where can people find you?
Hi guys, Game Night Live on YouTube and Joyful Buster on Twitter. Not really Twitch, but I'm thinking of making a sick comeback, but or more of a comeback in blogging. But right now, just Game Night Live on YouTube and Joyful Buster.
Cool.
You can find me, Eli, on NintendoEnthusiast.com and on Twitter at PaulaSalon and on my IGN, PaulaSalon.
But
And
people
on
don't
YouTube.
go there anymore.
Oh, so
IGN jokes. So wherever you're listening, you can find us on Just Another Castle at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can leave us questions or give us comments and whatnot. So see you next time and leave gaming to Nintendo.
Whoop, whoop.